When we see mitochondrial changes in cell injury, it can either be a reversible cell injury or an irreversible cell injury. So let's start by looking at some of the changes in the reversible cell injury. So basically it all starts with some kind of ischemia, and there is a decreased in oxidative phosphorylation. So this is the first thing that will happen in case of a reversible cell injury, that there is a decreased level of oxidative phosphorylation. This ultimately leads to an influx of calcium inside the mitochondria, and this calcium is deposited as an amorphous deposit. So ultimately all this oxidative phosphorylation will lead to influx of calcium and deposition of amorphous deposits inside the mitochondria. And what it will ultimately be seen when we will see swellings starting to happen in mitochondria, and amorphous densities will be seen in mitochondria. So these are the two changes which we will see in reversible cell injury. One is the swellings we can see, and second is amorphous density. Now let's look at what happens in case of irreversible cell injury. When there is a continuous hypoxia, this influx of calcium will keep on continuing, and this amorphous density which we were seeing in case of reversible cell injury, now it will become dense deposits. So the first change which will start occurring in irreversible cell injury is dense deposit. Finally, all this will lead to dysfunction of mitochondria, and ultimately we will have vacuoles, swollen with vacuoles, the mitochondria, and eventually there will be large densities because of this calcium deposit. So if we see in reversible cell injury they were swelling, but in irreversible cell injury these swellings changed into vacuoles, and in reversible cell injury they were amorphous densities, whereas in irreversible cell injury these amorphous densities changed into dense deposits, also called as large densities.